Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to my WWE NXT review for February 8th, 2017. And let's just get right into the review. So we had Percy Watson, Nigel McGuinness, and Tom Phillips on commentary. This was the first episode that Nigel McGuinness did commentary for, which was pretty interesting. Um, and obviously, he's taken the place of Corey Graves. And obviously, NXT just isn't the same without Corey Graves on commentary. But I still think Nigel McGuinness is doing a good job. I actually think he's doing a good job of calling the moves. I'm not sure if he's supposed to be the heel commentator yet, because there is stuff where he does defend the heels. And he will take the heel side on, but he doesn't necessarily do it in a way where he's being a heel like Corey Graves would. But yeah, but this commentary team definitely needs a lot of help. But Nigel McGuinness, I think, is doing actually a pretty good job on commentary. But yeah, Percy Watson just is not that good on commentary, and Tom Phillips just sucks anyway, so it's just kind of like, eh. And it kind of sounds awkward because then we have a British guy. I'm not saying being racist, but it's just really weird that he's on commentary. I just don't really think this commentary team really gels. I just personally think they need to bring somebody in to fill in for to replace Percy Watson or Tom Phillips, because I just don't think they're very good on commentary. But then we had the first actual match on the show. It was a tag team match. It was Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf with Eric Young and Nikki Cross ringside versus the Bollywood Boys. I'm still not a huge fan of the Bollywood Boys. I don't really get the whole little dance that they do. I can't even do it now, but overall, I really enjoyed this, and not because of the match, but because of what happened in the match. So pretty much, the Bollywood Boys are about to hit a double super kick on Killian Dane. And by the way, Killian Dane, too, he is one hairy dude. Like, the amount of hair that's on him is just ridiculous. But the Bollywood Boys go for the double super kick, but then Killian Dane takes their heads off with a double clothesline, and pretty much at this point, he just kills the Bollywood Boys. He hits a power bomb on one of them, and then he hits a senton on both of them, and then eventually he hits one of them with the electric chair into the Michinoku driver for the win, and that was it. It was pretty much a 2-on-1 handicap match, because Alexander Wolf never got tagged into the match, which was, I thought, kind of funny. So I thought that was good. And he even took out one of the Bollywood's boys completely out with the high cross body. And then afterwards, Sanity get on the mic, and Nikki Cross keeps screaming Asuka's name, so they're probably going to do another match between Asuka and Nikki Cross on an episode of NXT. And then Eric Young says that they said at TakeOver that they were going to take. And they completely laid waste to Ty Dillinger. They said that they were going to put him in his place, and they did just that. They humbled him, but they said that they're still not giving him a choice. He says that he belongs as part of Sanity, and he has a choice to make. So overall, I thought this was a good promo. Then we had the next match. It was Liv Morgan versus Billie Kay with Peyton Royce ringside. I thought this was a solid women's match here. Liv Morgan hits the roll-up, where she just keeps doing it again and again and again. And then Billie Kay dominates the matchup for pretty much the rest of the time. And then Liv Morgan hits a Hurricanrana. But then eventually Peyton Royce gets on the apron. And Billie Kay accidentally gets knocked into Peyton Royce. And eventually Liv Morgan rolls her up for the win. And that was it. And that was the end of the match. I was actually shocked Liv Morgan won, because I just personally didn't see it coming. I was surprised, because they haven't really been pushing her too much. They sort of been pushing her, but not to the likes of Billie Kay. So I was actually kind of surprised. But yeah, it was interesting. And then next, Ty Dillinger gets interviewed, and he talks about how he says that he is not a member of Sanity, and he said that he doesn't plan on becoming a member of Sanity. And then he goes to talk about the Royal Rumble appearance, and then he gets attacked by Sanity from behind in the locker room. They beat the crap out of him, and they eventually lead to the win. But Ty Dillinger's doing the best he can to fight him off. But then eventually Killian Dane completely wipes him out with a crossbody, and then they just start beating the crap out of Ty Dillinger. And then Roderick Strong and No Way Jose come out to make the save, and they all fight with Sanity, and then they eventually all send Sanity packing, and then that was it. I thought this was actually a pretty good segment here, and it made Sanity look strong, and this ended up setting up a 6-man tag team match between Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Eric Young versus Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, and No Way Jose. So overall, I thought it was good in that regard. And then next, William Regal was backstage, and he announces that there's going to be the first ever United Kingdom Championship match next week, which was the last episode of NXT, and it's going to be Tyler Bate defending the title against Trent Seven, which I'm actually looking forward to seeing that match. And then Billy Kay and Peyton Royce comes in, and they're upset that Billy Kay lost to Liv Morgan because she claims that that she was holding her tights when the referee didn't see it. So they want a match with Liv Morgan. So William Regal grants them the match, and it's going to be a tag team match, them versus Liv Morgan and a partner of her choosing. And Liv Morgan Billy Kay and Peyton Royce laugh and say that no one and say that she's not going to be able to find a partner because Liv Morgan doesn't have any friends. So I thought this was a nice backstage segment here. Then we had the next match. It was another tag team match. It was Heavy Machinery versus the Revival. And if you don't know, Heavy Machinery consists of Tucker Knight and Otis. I forget his last name, but Otis something. And this was pretty much a squash match, but there was a good spot in the match where Tucker Knight got Dash into a bear hug, and then he throws him into another bear hug by Otis, which I thought was a good spot. But the Revival pretty much dominate Otis throughout the whole match. Then eventually Tucker Knight gets the hot tag, and he starts going off on everybody. But then eventually Dawson hits a DDT on Tucker Knight for the win. So obviously I like the fact that the Revival went over here. And afterwards they get on the microphone, and it says that that people that they feel like they've been being disrespected by management in NXT because they were the former 2-time NXT Tag Team Champions, and some people in the audience aren't completely stupid. They were voted NXT Tag Team of the Year, and they talk about how they're not just the best tag team in NXT, but in the entire world, and they've carried the NXT tag team division. Well, they've carried the tag team division all over the world, and they make fun of the Authors of Pain, saying that they're just a flash in the pan, and when at NXT TakeOver Orlando, they're going to take the titles off them and become the first ever 3-time NXT Tag Team Champions. And then the Authors of Pain come out, but obviously the Revival don't want to face them because they're monsters, so they leave. So then the Authors of Pain just go to leave, and afterwards the Revival attack them from behind, and they just do kind of a hit-and-run attack. I actually thought this was pretty good. This made the Revival look like some cunning heels, and obviously this is probably setting up a matchup between the Revival and the Authors of Pain at NXT TakeOver Orlando for the NXT Tag Team titles, which I actually would be down for that match, and that would actually be a pretty interesting matchup. And then next it shows a video package for Tyler Bate, and it pretty much shows everything that he's done. He talks about where he's from and how he's fought for his entire life to get to the WWE, and he says that he has 2 hands. And Bob, I forget what he calls him, and he says when he least expected they could strike you at any time. And he says to him that age isn't a number. He may only be 19 years old, but the only numbers that matters to him are 1, 2, 3, and that's the numbers that he's going to use to pin you. So overall, a good video package, a nice way to kind of introduce to the fans going into next week. And then next we have Bobby Roode's NXT Championship celebration. And Bobby Roode comes out, and he says that he's not normally the type of guy to say, "I told you so." And he's like, "Oh wait, that's totally the type of guy I am. I told you so. I said for the moment I stepped here in NXT that I was going to change the landscape of NXT." And he says that he talks about how he defeated Shinsuke Nakamura, a guy that has wrestled for a decade in Japan. And if you don't know what a decade is, that's 10 years for all you idiots out there. Which I like that he said that. And he says that this is also somebody that came in here and beat everybody in his path at NXT except for Bobby Roode. And Bobby Roode says that he is a guy that you want as your NXT champion. He looks and walks like an NXT champion. And, everybody says that he had talked about that Shinsuke Nakamura was going to kick my head off. But it's newsflash, it's still attached. And then he says that he talked about how he was going to hit me with the Kim Sasha, and he did just that, but I still was able to survive. And he says that everybody talks about how we are NXT. But that's not the case anymore, because now that I have this title, this is my NXT. And then that was it. Afterwards, some smoke falls down, and they have the celebration. And overall, I thought this was a great promo by Bobby Roode, and I'm really happy that he's NXT champion. And I can't wait to see what he does with the title. I kind of hope he has a nice long reign as an NXT champion, at least up until NXT TakeOver Orlando. I would like to see him hold it up until NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3, but that's probably not going to happen because that may be too long. But I think that would be great if he could hold it for that long, just because it'd be really cool. But overall, he cut a really good promo. And then next, we had a video package for Trent Seven. He talks about where he's from. He's from the Mustache Mountain, and how he feels like he's the best in the world. And this was pretty much hyping him up. Saying that he wanted to get to the WWE because it's the major leagues. It's something that he's always been fighting for. So overall, I thought that was a good hype video to get him hyped up to go to for the match in the next episode. And I do like that they're putting the United Kingdom Championship tournament on NXT. I don't know if that's what they're doing, if they're making it exclusive to NXT. I like it for a couple of reasons. One, because NXT finally has another mid-card championship belt, because what happens is NXT usually has like a lot of wrestlers, and there's not really a lot you can do with them, so having the UK tournament could be like that mid-card championship. I also like it too because, let's just say that they decided to put guys like Tyler Bate and Trent Seven on the main roster. They would not get over today at all, especially with what Tyler Bates' gimmick is, where he just comes out and does the wave, and his gimmick's kind of like a bland gimmick. So I'm kind of like the fact that they didn't put him on the main roster first, because he just nobody would know who he is. He would get no reaction if he went up on the main roster right now. Not that I hate him, but that's just the truth. So then we had the main event. It was a 6-man tag team match. Ty Dillinger, No Way Jose, and Roderick Strong versus Killian Dane, Alexander Wolf, and Eric Young with Nikki Cross ringside. And before the match starts, Dillinger, No Way Jose, and Strong all attack Sanity before the match starts. And they just get into a huge brawl. And they dominate the first half of the matchup, which I thought was really good. Then eventually, Alexander Wolf hits a wicked high knee right onto Ty Dillinger, and the heels get the heat on Ty Dillinger for a while, and they beat the crap out of him. But then eventually, Roderick Strong gets the hard tag on Alexander Wolf, and he starts really going off on him. Then Eric Young tags himself in. He hits a face buster on Eric Young, tries to pin him, but it gets broken up by Alexander Wolf. Then No Way Jose takes out Alexander Wolf. He gets a dive on the outside. And then eventually Roderick Strong goes to bounce off the rope. Killian Dane pulls him down, and this causes a distraction by the referee. So behind the referee's back, Ty Dillinger hits a tiebreaker on Eric Young. But then Nikki Cross hits a Hurricanrana outside the ring onto Ty Dillinger. And behind the referee's back, Killian Dane, he's distracted by Nikki Cross. Killian Dane takes out Roderick Strong with a high cross body. Eric Young covers him, gets the victory, and Sanity wins. I like this just because this made Sanity look like a really strong stable. I think they did a really good job setting that up all throughout the night by having them take out the Bollywood boys, and then they just took out Ty Dillinger, No Way Jose, and Roderick Strong. I thought that was awesome. And that was pretty much it. So as for NXT, I actually thought NXT was a really good show. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I just thought it was really good. I liked the championship celebration of Bobby Roode. I thought that was awesome. I liked how they made Sanity look like a dominant stable and a force to be reckoned with. I liked the tag team match with Heavy Metal and the Revival. And I thought the women's match was pretty solid. So overall, I thought NXT was a really good show. And that's pretty much it, guys. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. This channel and my CM Brothers are on the Talkinator channel. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.